Good morning. Hi, Kara.
Good morning.
It's fun to see you this morning.
Yeah, I usually don't get up till after 8, but I was up this morning and I saw your email and I was like, perfect.
Good. I'm glad. Well, do you have any requests? Anything that you want to do? 'Cause it might
I always need to work on like my lower back and like pelvis area. I'm finding I've been doing stuff every day, and I'm finding that as I work on that, it is like physical therapy for like being on bed rest forever.
Yeah.
Babies. So that's where I'm finding the most benefit. So that would be great, but I'm not really okay with anything.
Okay, awesome. Good morning, Leanne. Same with you. Do you have any requests? Good. All right, we will go ahead and I'll mute everyone and we'll get started. Okay, Barry's here with me today. We're actually, well, we can sit for a second because I have something to read, but then we will start standing. But our theme for this month is change, going through transitions, kind of on that cusp of moving into summer. But I think, right, like the only constant in life is change, that there's always something shifting and it can throw us off. And I think that's part of what we're here to learn, is how to shift and maybe do it gracefully. So we'll kind of play with that today, with the shifting, with attention. But I'm pulling out my trusty book called When Things Fall Apart: Heart Advice for Difficult Times by Pema Chodron. And she is a Buddhist nun. But she says, we are given changes all the time. We can either cling to security, or we can let ourselves feel exposed as if we had just been born, as if we had just popped out into the brightness of life and were completely naked. It's our chance to realize that this mundane world is all there is, and we could see it with new eyes at long last wake up from our ancient sleep of preconceptions. She says, be inquisitive about this unknown territory and about the unanswerable questions of what's going to happen next. Every moment is an invitation for us to be what Jesus asked us to be, is to become like a little child. Instead of clinging to what was past or how things should be, the preconceptions in our mind, she's saying, just letting ourselves feel exposed and curious about what's going to happen next. And that, yes, the hard things are going to happen. And when we feel sad, we can feel sad about it. When, she says we can simply experiment. And so as we move today, that's my invitation to you, is that we'll play with some shifting, but also pay attention to what's changing with some curiosity and inquisitiveness. Let me turn on my clock so I make sure I know what time it is. And we'll go ahead and start standing. I have a strap here for some stretching at the end. So if you have like a scarf or a hand towel from the kitchen or a belt, a tie or anything, you could run and grab that. If not, it will be fine, but we will use that at the end. Scoot back this just a little bit more. We'll just come to the tops of our mats and close your eyes just so you can kind of bring your awareness into your body. Feel your feet on the floor and just start to rock back and forth. Shift the weight from the balls of your feet to your heels. Just balls of your feet to your heels. And then see if you can sway from side to side, just shift weight from one foot to the other. And see if you can really feel your feet kind of spread on the floor as your foot gets more weight in it. And then center your weight between both feet. See if you can roll onto the outer edges of your feet, that lateral arch. And then bring more weight into your heels and then more weight into the medial side of your foot, the inner side of your big toe ball mound. And see if you can just shift your weight in circles around your feet. You can get your toes involved. Just wake them up and then bring your feet down. Feel like you're centered. And now push down through all your toes without scrunching your toes. Feel like you pull them back towards your heels. Let your arches in the center of your feet kind of lift. And then relax and spread. See if you can kind of lift your toes and let your arches fall a little bit and go back and forth there. So it's pretty subtle. It's kind of like if you had a tissue under your toes, you could kind of scrunch it up and pull it in and then push it away. And just do that one more time. And then find a place that feels pretty balanced. Push into your big toes and see if you can lift all of your 4 little toes. And now push down into your 4 little toes and see if you can lift your big toes. And just go back and forth there a couple of times. It's kind of a brain exercise. And they may not really move independently, and that's fine. It's just kind of telling your brain, like, it's possible. You could do this. Sometimes you have to do it just in your imagination. And then stop with your feet. Just feel your weight equally distributed from your big toe ball mound, pinky toe ball mound to center of your heel. And then just let your chin drop. So we did our feet, now we'll kind of do our neck and head. Let your chin drop to your chest. And then just turn your chin to your right. And then lift your chin up toward the ceiling. Chin to the other shoulder. And then just center. And switch directions. So chin to the other shoulder. And then up toward the ceiling. Chin to your right shoulder. And then down. And now we'll lead more with our ears. So tip your right ear to your right shoulder and then kind of tip your nose up toward the ceiling. And then left ear to left shoulder. And then chin to chest. Switch directions with ear to shoulder instead of chin to shoulder. And then bring your head back up to center. Give yourself a little bit of a hug. So just hands on shoulders. And then arch your spine over to your right. So we're just moving through our thoracic spine. Try to keep your lower body and your pelvis still. And then twist your rib cage. So your right elbow is coming towards your right hip point. And then round yourself forward. Now twist to the left. And then let yourself kind of fold to the left. Come upright and open your heart a little toward the ceiling, but we're moving just in our rib cage. Do that kind of a circle with just your rib cage. One more time in that direction. And then when you come back up to center, we'll twist. Well, you'll side bend over to your left and then twist into that side bend. And then circle around. Twist the other way, find your little bit of a side bend, and come on up. And just do 2 in that direction. When you come up to center, just release your hands and take your right fingertips and just drip them down your right leg, and you can bend into that right knee as you stretch through your left side. And then come on up and just let your fingertips drip down your left side and really find some space here. You can let that knee bend. Just go one more time each side. Just kind of letting yourself drip. Come to center and we'll roll down into a forward fold. Start with your chin. One vertebrae at a time. So really think about just moving your rib cage vertebrae. I'm going to go down really slow. Let your middle vertebrae start to fold. You can soften your knees when you get to your lower back. Really engage that lower belly so you really are trying to bend one vertebrae at a time. And then you can let your pelvis tip and fold forward. And we'll stack ourselves back up. So think first about pointing your sitting bones toward your heels and bringing your pelvis upright. And then those lower back vertebrae stack one at a time, middle back. And then chin lifts last. Let's make our way back down, slowly like that again. And so as we shift and change, right, we can pay attention to what's happening in between. When you get down, let your knees be soft. You can take your right hand outside of your left calf or ankle. Really bend into your right knee and then reach your left arm up for a twist. And then just switch sides. Thread that left arm around and reach. Yeah, I'm mirroring because and then fold. We take our left foot and step it back into a lunge. But keep your knee lifted. Really grab. So you may need to move your right foot to the right, that front foot. Let yourself feel stable. And then float your hands back by your hips. Push down into that right heel and come on up into a high lunge. Reach your arms high. And then just drop your right hand and keep your left arm up. We'll do some big shoulder circles here. So lead with your, actually just bring your right hand around your ribs. And reach back around. And then lead with your pinky as you go the other way. And then you'll rotate that shoulder to come through. But try to keep your ribs forward. Now ground your back heel and just open yourself up toward the long edge of your mat, heels and toes out. And just sit into a goddess squat. Bring your hands onto your thighs. And then just drop a shoulder, find some leverage of your hands on your thighs. Drop a shoulder to the center. And then go the other way. And go back and forth a couple of times. And then we'll turn the other direction. So turn your left toes to the left. Find your high lunge the other way. So you'll lift that right heel and reach your arms high. And drop your left arm and find those big shoulder circles with your right. Reach back. You can use your hands around your ribs to kind of try to keep your torso stable. Let yourself feel stable through your feet and your hips and feel the strength there. As you stir that shoulder around. And we'll come back into our goddess, heels in, toes out. This time bring your arms into a cactus. Try to draw up through your lower belly. And then give yourself a hug with the right elbow underneath. And then from here, you could lift your hands, maybe bring the backs of your hands together. Bring your right fingers in towards your left palm. And sway a little bit from side to side. You can stay low in your legs or you can come out. We'll open our arms back into our cactus. And then if you came out of your squat, bend your knees back down. Left elbow underneath right, give yourself a hug. And stay there, or bring the backs of your hands together, hands into your palm. And then release your arms, straighten both legs, parallel your feet. So turn your toes in, heels out. So outer edges of your feet parallel with the short edges of your mat. Soften through your knees and then let yourself fold halfway forward. So your spine is parallel with the floor and just reach your arms. And just find this halfway in between place to balance. Take a breath. And then soften your knees enough that you can let your hands come to the floor. And bend one knee and then the other. Just let yourself shift from side to side. And then you can find a center place. Maybe stretch, let your head drop closer to the floor. And then walk your hands to the top of your mat. And we'll make our way into a table. And you can tuck your back toes, just bring your hips back towards your heels, but keep your hands where they were. Spread your fingers wide, and we'll do some finger taps. So start with your thumbs. You're just going to keep your hands on the floor as much as you can. Keep your arms straight, and just tap your thumbs as fast as you can. Try to keep your elbows straight, and you can rock forward. And just go as far as you can with straight elbows and still tapping your thumbs. And then we'll switch to the next finger. So back out a little bit, start doing your pointer fingers. Keep your elbows straight. And then maybe you rock forward. You keep those fingers tapping them. So only rock as far forward as you can with straight elbows. And then next finger. So you can back out. Try to keep straight elbows and then you can rock forward. And then we'll do the ring fingers. This one's the hardest. I have to stay back pretty far. So your pinky and your ring finger are the same muscles, basically the same tendon. So you might feel your pinky wanting to move. And then do your pinky. And keep straight elbows. Come far forward as you can, straight elbows. And then release. Bring the backs of your hands to the floor, palms face up. And you can kind of sway from side to side. And then make your hands into fists. So try to curl your fingers into your fists, but keep the backs of your hands on the floor. Kind of like a claw. It's not a beautiful fist. And then open up. Do one more. And then release, hands down. Float your right knee up off the floor and then bring it into your chest. We'll just find 3 circles in this direction. So knee into chest, knee out to the side, heel to ceiling, knee into chest, knee out to the side, heel to ceiling, and then switch, heel toward the ceiling, knee out to the side. With a stable pelvis, try to keep your stable pelvis. One more. And then we'll bring that right leg straight out to the side. And find some cat and cow here. So lift your sitting bones and then tuck your tailbone around your spine. Let's do 2 or 3 with that leg out. And then walk your hands back toward that grounded knee. Bring right hand onto your right thigh. Reach up and over. And then come on upright. Really ground into that grounded knee and shin. Bend into your straightened out leg and just float that leg up off the floor and find some balance. And then plant your foot. And then we'll change the placement of your foot. So just feel your balance and maybe step your foot in front of your knee. Find your balance. Maybe step your foot over to the side. Find your balance. Maybe cross all the way across. Just take a few steps there. And then we'll just find a low lunge. You can step that foot forward and Find some engagement in your back glute. Let yourself stretch through the front. Reach your left arm, the arm that's of the leg that's back, and then side bend. Come on up. Tuck your back toes. Lean partway forward. Ground into that front foot. Lift your back knee. And then come up into a high lunge. Reach high. Reach. Left arm forward, right arm back. Or, yeah. And then bring this left hand outside your right knee or elbow to knee and find a twist. So you could be twisting here. Really feel like you're scissoring those feet toward each other to feel stable and draw that outer right hip toward the midline. And then we'll cartwheel ourselves open to warrior two. Just ground that back heel. Open yourself wide. And then we'll find side angle pose. Bring your forearm to your thigh, or you could grab onto your inner ankle. Reach high. Internally rotate that left arm, your top arm. So your thumb is pointing away from your palms behind you, and bring elbow, bend your elbow and bring the back of your hand to your lower back. And then swim that up. Reach your arm alongside your ear, bend your elbow and tap between your shoulder blades. And we'll just do that there 2 or 3 times. Maybe pause with that hand behind your lower back. Let yourself open there. And then unwind your hands. Just frame your foot with your hands. Step back into a plank. Have your knees up or down, but feel like you're pulling your hands and feet toward each other. Really push the floor away, spread your shoulder blades on your back. And then bring your knees down. Let your hips come over your knees and walk your hands forward. And drop your heart toward the floor. Maybe forehead comes to the floor, maybe chin. Let this be a big stretch through your shoulders. And then we'll slide our legs back. Come onto your belly. Swim your hands alongside your hips. Push down into your pubic bone. Lift both legs. Lift your head and chest. Just reach back. And then let yourself lower. Push down into your pubic bone. Feel like you're squeezing something between your thighs. As you lift both legs, lift between your inner thighs. Lift your head and chest. And lower. Do that one more time. Up. And lower. Hands under your shoulders. You can tuck your toes, come up through table or straight up to plank. And then lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Inhale onto your tippy toes, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale and reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And just bring your hands to the floor, soften your knees. Step back into your table. And we'll find those hip cars with the left side. So just knee in, knee out to the side, heel to ceiling. And try to keep your pelvis as level as you can. So you could imagine that you have a block sitting on the back of your pelvis. So you're not going to peel open here. You're just moving with that left hip joint. After you've gone 3 times that direction, switch, heel to ceiling, knee out to the side, and around. And go ahead, take that left leg straight out to the left, straight left leg. Lift your sitting bones, lift your collarbones, lift your gaze, and then tuck your tailbone around everything. You do that at your pace, 1 or 2 more times. Walk your hands back. And come upright, left hand on left thigh. Right arm up and over. And side stretch. All right, come upright. Really ground through your back, shin and foot. Bend through this outstretched leg. Just find your balance, let your toes float up off the floor, and then place your foot anywhere. And then just play with that change. But really paying attention to that time in between, where you're using that stabilizing core as you just move that foot to different places. And then find a place for a comfortable low lunge. Let yourself lean forward a little bit. Lift the arm of your back leg. So right arm up and side bend. And come back up to center. Lean partway forward, tuck your back toes. Pour weight into that front foot and lift your back knee. Come up into your high lunge. And then right arm forward, left arm back. Find your twist. You can bring your hand or your elbow. Right elbow outside left knee. Find your twist here. And then cartwheel yourself open into your warrior two. So turn those back toes in. Yeah. So that back hip has a little bit of internal rotation. Engage through that outer glute. Push into your big toe ball mound on your front foot. And then we'll find our side angle pose. Maybe forearm to thigh. You can hold onto that inner ankle. Reach your arm up. Internally rotate that shoulder so your palms facing away. Bend your elbow and bring that hand to the back of your lower back. And then swim back around, bicep by your ear. Bend your elbow there and tap between your shoulder blades. And just find that swimming. Try to keep your heart open here. Maybe you pause, the hand to your lower back, let your heart open. Unwind yourself. Hands frame that front foot. Step back to your plank. You can have your knees down or up. Do what feels supportive for your lower back and core. Draw those front low ribs in. And whether your knees are down or up, feel like you're pulling your feet and your hands toward each other. And then bring your knees down. Find that puppy pose. So hips stay high. Bend your knees so your hips are kind of on top of your knees. And then reach your arms long. Open through your outer shoulders. Bring your forearms down. Lengthen your legs. Come all the way to your belly. Swim your arms back by your hips. Push down into your pubic bone. Loop your shoulders up and back. So really draw your shoulder blades together. Lift both feet. Reach. Really think about lengthening the space from your tailbone to the crown of your head. And then lower. Now think of pushing your inner thighs toward each other and then up toward the ceiling. And lift. And lower. Now think that you're really pushing something with the back of your head as you come up your last time. Really reach those hands back. Lower down. Hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, come up through table or plank. And then downward facing dog. Take a breath there. Come onto your tippy toes, look forward. Bend your knees, take a walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach high. And make our way onto our backs. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees like you're sitting into a chair. Reach your arms high. And just pause here. See if you can start to lower more and more. Maybe your heels need to lift. Maybe you need to use your hands on the floor. Maybe you can bring your bum to the floor. And we'll come all the way down onto your backs. Hold on to the backs of your thighs. Lower down. Take your feet hip distance apart. And for this first round of bridge, I want you to articulate your spine up. So really think about lifting one vertebrae at a time. So the back of your head's on the floor, your gaze is straight up at the ceiling. Really push your lower back down so that you can lift your tailbone. Lift your sacrum. And then one at a time, see if you can lift your lower back vertebrae. We're going to go a little bit over today. I talked too much at the beginning. Peel yourself all the way up. Try to keep your tailbone high as you start to lower one vertebrae at a time from the top. Keep lifting that tailbone as you bring your lower back down. And then find a neutral place, neutral curve under your lower back, just a little bit of space. This next time we come up, really think about just pushing to your feet and just pushing your knees straight forward. Just push your knees forward. Your back can come up in one piece. As you lift and lengthen through your front body. And then go ahead and lower your way all the way down. Bring your right knee into your chest. And if you have a strap here, you can loop your strap around your foot. And just let your right leg straighten. I like to hold onto the strap with straight arms. And then just kind of let the weight of your arms kind of fall into your shoulder sockets. See if you can feel a natural curve behind your lower back. So the back of your head, the back of your heart, the back of your pelvis are on the floor, but there's just a natural space underneath your lower back. That even your lowest ribs are on the floor. If you can keep those natural curves and lengthen your left leg, go for it. If you feel that, really lift your tailbone up, then just keep that left knee bent, foot flat on the floor. And then push your foot into your strap and pull your strap into your foot with all your might. If you don't have a strap, you can just hold on to the back of your thigh or ankle or calf or whatever. And then let go of that effort and see if you have a little more space to stretch. Maybe your leg can come a little straighter, maybe come a little closer to you. Do that one more time. Push. And then release the effort of pushing. Maybe your leg can come a little straighter. Bring both straps into your right hand and slightly turn your right toes out to the right. Bring your left hand onto your left hip just to remind it to stay down and open that right leg out to the right. You can have your knee bent. You don't want to feel this in your inner knee, just your inner thigh. So just come down to a place that feels interesting. And breathe. And then come back up to center. If your left leg's long, bend it, foot flat on the floor. You can release your strap, bend that right knee, and just stack your right ankle over your left thigh. And energetically push that foot away. And then just let yourself rock from side to side on your hips a little. And then take this arrangement of your legs, drop it all the way to the right. You've got some internal rotation of that left thigh. And use the weight of that right heel to kind of push your left knee toward the floor in a way that feels good. And then with your left arm, you can kind of swim out to the side like a snow angel. And then we'll come back up to center, take this whole arrangement over to the left. So let your right foot come to the floor, and then you can energetically just push your right knee away from you. Find some space through that right hip. Maybe snow angel your right arm. And then come back up to center. Flex through that right foot. Maybe float your left foot up off the floor. Maybe reach behind your left thigh, the basket grip. But you don't even have to grab that foot, you can just float. And then release both feet to the floor, left knee into your chest, find your strap around your foot. Lengthen up. Feel the natural curve of your spine. So you've got a little space under your lower back, but your sacrum, the back of your pelvis, is heavy on the floor. If you can maintain that lower back curve, you can straighten your right leg. If you notice that that pushes your lower back down, just keep your knee bent. And then push your foot into your strap into your foot. Just find all that tension through your left leg and then release it. And see if maybe you have a little more space. Maybe your leg will go a little straighter, maybe come a little closer to you. And do that one more time. Push. And then release the effort. And let your breath be calm and easy. Relax your shoulders and your throat. Bring both straps into your left hand. Slightly turn those left toes to the left. You can open that leg out to the left. Bend your knee as much as you need to keep this out of your knee. It's not an inner knee stretch, just an inner thigh. Breathe there. And then come back up to center. Bend your right knee if it's not bent, and then take your strap off and bring your left ankle to your right knee. Just kind of windshield wiper this arrangement of your legs from side to side. And then we'll eventually bring it all the way over to the left. So that left heel is just on top of your right knee. And then with your right arm, you can find some snow angel sweep. And then come back up to center. Just keep this cross and you'll drop the whole arrangement over to the right. Stomp that left foot on the floor and energetically you can push your left knee toward the foot of your mat and maybe find your snow angels with your left arm on this side. And back up to center. And float your right foot up off the floor. You can hold onto the back of your thigh or not. And stretch through that outer left hip. And then release. Hug both knees into your chest. You could reach for outer feet and find a happy baby. Any last thing that you need. And then you can decide if you want your final few moments to be laying on the floor in Shavasana, just to absorb, or you can roll up and find a comfortable seat and end seated. Let this be a time of transition. I'll just return to our quote. We are given changes all the time. We can either cling to security or we can let ourselves feel exposed as if we had just been born, as if we had just popped out into the brightness of life and were completely naked. It's our chance to realize that this mundane world is what there is, and we could see it with new eyes, and at long last wake up from our ancient sleep of preconceptions. Go ahead and let yourself rest for as long as you'd like. We went a little bit over our half hour today, but thank you so much for practicing with us this morning. It's so fun to have friends The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste. I hope you have a good Friday. Have a good day. Thank you.
You do the same.